Hello and how you doing, and welcome back to another episode of Two Jagoffs. I am your host, Austin Carnes, and as you can see, we are back here in the beautiful media hub that Point Park presents us. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have yet again another very special guest. It is Interview Sunday, and today's guest might be the biggest yet. He works over at Pittsburgh Action News 4 on WTAE, one of my personal favorites growing up. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one, the only, Andrew Stockey. Andrew, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Austin, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I love your studio. I love being in this old building up here on the 10th floor. I mean, this is very, very nice.
Thank you. I mean, I wish I could take the credit for it, but Point Park so graciously let us use it. So,
well, it's a wonderful program.
It's a wonderful program.
And like I said, this is a wonderful studio. So thank you for having me on. It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. No problem. And I'm very much looking forward to this interview because, like I said, I actually grew up watching you for the longest time. I mean, anytime WTA was on, my mom had either you or my dad actually had you on WTAE or Bob Pompiani on KDK. It was one of those two. So I always
luckily we're not on at the same time, which is nice. Like
exactly.
You watch me first, and then he's on about 15 minutes later.
Yeah. So it was always nice having like a different mix. It was pretty cool.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. But just to get to know you a little bit in your career, I mean, where exactly did this all begin for you? I mean, you're at Pittsburgh Action News 4, WTAE. How'd you get here?
How did I get here? Let's see. How far back do you want to go?
Let's go back from the beginning. When did you first want to know what you wanted to do?
So I grew up in Connecticut.
Okay.
I'm a New England native. Grew up that's outside of Hartford, and we had a public access cable channel. Mm-hmm. And when I was a kid, when you're playing ball with your friends, you're doing play-by-play while you're playing.
Yeah.
So we'd play wiffle ball in the backyard, and I'd pretend I was a member of the Boston Red Sox. That was my team growing up, and my dad heard some of the play-by-play I was doing and thought it wasn't too bad for a 15, 16-year-old. And the local cable access channel was looking for announcers for the high school basketball games. They wanted kids to do it. So my dad decided to go down and say, hey, my son, he does it in the backyard, but he's not bad. Why don't you give him a listen? So they listened to myself and my buddy, who was also a play-by-play guy. And we both, sounded okay. And we did basketball for 2 seasons on the cable access channel. Simsbury, Connecticut is where I grew up, so Simsbury High School basketball. And that was kind of my introduction to broadcasting, and I kind of got interested from there, not just in the on-air part of it, but producing, writing, editing. I did the highlight film for my high school football team the final 2 years I was in high school, which was a little more work involved. I did I do a highlight segment, then I do interviews. Now, we're going way back. It's like the 1980s, where the tapes were like this big.
Oh, yeah, but a lot more complex, huh?
A little more complex. Well, actually, it was probably simpler. It was just much more cumbersome.
Oh, okay.
And, I'd also played high school football while I was there, so it was easy for me to, tell the
What
story.
position?
I was a running back and a safety. So I was able to tell the story because I was part of it.
Yeah.
And that kind of got me interested in the whole world of broadcasting. And I finally decided, I looked at a number of schools. I decided to go to Ohio University. It's about 3 hours from here in Athens, Ohio. But, I didn't want to be on air. I didn't want to do producing. I wanted to be like one of those people who makes decisions. I wanted to be in the business side, sales, marketing. So I went to Ohio U with a major in business, a minor in communications. And while I was there, they have an honors program there. Not that I'm smart. Let's get that clear right now. But it's a program where you go right into your major. And so I learned about the business of broadcasting. But of course, like sales or marketing club. So I kept doing on-air stuff just to keep my hand in it and understand what was going on, the new technology. I hosted shows on the NPR channel there. I did a couple of Ohio U football games and basketball games on local cable access. And I interned at ESPN a couple times in both the production side and the on-air side. So finally I graduate, and I decide, I'm going to work in sales and marketing. And there was an opening at ESPN in what they call their affiliate sales division. I was like, okay, I'm going to go for that. Came in second. Didn't get it. Yeah.
Second.
Well, the guy who got the job had a little more experience than me. Now he's second in command at ESPN, so I don't feel so bad anymore. But I finally got a sales job in Chicago. I sold for what was called Sports Channel. And I really didn't enjoy it. I didn't think, it wasn't what I thought it would be. I don't know why. It's kind of like I just didn't feel the same vibe I got from being on air and doing stuff TV-wise. So I decided to leave there. Worked in D.C. for about 6 months for Fox News before it was even Fox News. It was just a office to produce video for news affiliates, Fox News affiliates around the country. And then I finally, somebody saw my tape, and I got a job offer in all places Hartford. Where I grew up. Yeah, I was surprised.
Right back at home.
Right back at home. And it was funny because it was like the early 90s. And I'll never forget my news director. I went in to see her after I'd been hired. I said, no, thank you for hiring me. This is a real honor and privilege to work where I grew up. But I had to have the least amount of experience. So why did you hire me? She said, well, two things. Number one, you seem to know the area. You grew up here. You know the teams. And the second thing, and you have to remember, it's the early 90s, and this was a big thing, you don't have a mustache.
It was the facial hair.
It was a Magnum PI days, Tom Selleck days back then. So, I know she was kidding, but maybe partially serious. So that was my first foray into doing on-air television. I was a weekend sports anchor there for a year and a half. Covered my favorite team as a kid. I grew up as a Hartford Whaler fan. That was my team, and to this day, it's still my team. I mean, I still, Ronnie Francis. I got to know him there before I even met him here in Pittsburgh, and that's just something about that team I've always enjoyed. And after about a year and a half there, I got a job in Mobile, Alabama, which was being on the air, 3 times a day, 5 days a week. I was a sports director at the NBC station, covered Alabama and Auburn football, Saints football. Just football is all people care about down there. That's it. That's all people.
So it's all football. Yeah.
It is all football.
LSU, New Orleans.
I mean, I'm in Mobile, Alabama.
Oh, you're more over there. Yeah.
So I'm 4 hours from Tuscaloosa, 4.5 from Auburn.
Oh, so you got like oh yeah.
Yeah, and all people want to talk about is Alabama. Yeah. That's all anybody wants to talk about. So every weekend it's like driving 4 hours up there and so on and so forth. And then finally in the early 90s, Channel 4 came to me and they liked my work and offered me a job as the weekend sports anchor.
Wow.
And that's how I got here back in 1995. So it's now this March was 30 years.
30 years. Well, congratulations on the 30 years. And I
can't believe they kept me around this long. I take that back. It's an amazing run, I think, in this business especially, to be someplace. 10 years is a long time.
For sure. But I mean, you've been all over the place before you even got here too, which I think is just absolutely incredible.
Well, I think you learn so much from every stop you make and everything you do. And even in this job today, I mean, I don't know everything. I'm learning something every single day. And I always tell young people, look, you know what? Your education doesn't stop when you get out of college. Yeah. And it doesn't stop with your first job or second job or third job. You'll be learning all throughout your career. So I'm very fortunate. I've had a lot of different experiences to get me ready for this one.
What was the best advice you were given before you got to Pittsburgh?
I was just told to make yourself available to everybody. Go places, do things, be seen, get to know the area. I can say I've been to, if not every high school, well over 100.
Wow.
In my time being here, whether it was Student Athlete of the Week, whether it was for a game, whether it was speaking. I've been to just about the majority of high schools here. And I think it really helped me because I got to know each community. I mean, we play this game at Channel 4. It's like, okay, now here's the high school, Andrew, give me the nickname. And 9 times out of 10, I can do it.
All right, Carlington. That's my
Cougars.
alma mater. There you go. That's my alma mater.
So I think being able to go places and see people and have them see you and get to know who you are. You're not just this person on television. Yeah. You're somebody who lives in Western Pennsylvania who is part of the community. So that's probably the greatest advice I ever received.
What was it like when you first got here to Pittsburgh? Because like you were saying, you were all over the place. I mean, Alabama, up in Hartford. I mean, being all over the place and being in all these different places. Pittsburgh is the one you've been the longest. What's so different about Pittsburgh?
Well, I mean, Pittsburgh, I think in many ways isn't different from where I grew up. It's just a bigger small town. I grew up in a small town in Connecticut. Population 30,000. Everybody knows everybody. I've always loved small towns. I just feel much more at home there. And Pittsburgh in the beginning, I mean, I came here and it was the mid-'90s. The steel mills were still dealing with the closure of the steel mills. The AI culture, the tech culture had not developed here yet. It was a place where people still lived within Allegheny County. There wasn't a lot of development around the surrounding area. So it was a very different Pittsburgh when I came here. And I thought I'd be here for a couple of years and move on. I mean, I liked it, but I wasn't in love with it. And I think as time went on, I got to know what makes Pittsburgh unique. It's the people. People here watch the news. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I will bet you probably more so than any other city in America, people actually watch the news in greater numbers or greater percentages because they have a stake in this community. I mean, you go to Miami, nobody is really from Miami. You go to even New York, nobody's really from New York. But if you're from Boston, I think it's a lot like Pittsburgh. People are from there, and they care about their communities, and they care what's going on. And I think that's what makes this area so appealing, that you know what you're talking about. People are listening to, and they'll call you on it if you get it wrong. They will let you know. So I think that's what has always appealed to me. And then I got here when they finally decided to build the 2 stadiums. And I wanted to see that to completion. I wanted to see what that looked like. And here we are 25 years after PNC Park. And now Acrisure Stadium opened, and I think I think both have stood the test of time, and it's been cool to be here and watch. Now it's 25 years. Well, maybe the stadium's too old. Maybe we need to do this renovation. That's kind of been cool to see how it's changed over time.
And I mean, you've been with WTAE for like you said, 30 years now. Was there ever, well, maybe you share a funny story or any kind of cool moments that you had maybe on air, behind the scenes with your colleague?
I mean, all the time we have fun. I mean, it's fun. I've worked with so many great people. Myron Cope, got to
Legend.
know him. Oh my goodness, I'll never forget. I got to MC his roast, myself and Jim Crenn. Here I am 2 years into this place. And I'm MC. I'm the MC. I'm the Toastmaster, and I'm like, I can't, make fun of Myron Cope. God knows I tried. I wasn't very good at it, And Myron kind of just, took me under his wing, and till his death, I got to know him really, really well,
That's
and
awesome.
we became really. I don't know if it was. I think more mentor and disciple, I guess is the best way to say it. And I've worked with so many other great people. Bill Hillgrove.
Built legend.
Oh my goodness.
Friend of the show.
Oh, I mean, I'll never forget. We went to Ireland for the first time the Steelers went, and me and my photographer were about to leave, and all of a sudden Billy and Myron pull up in a limo. It's like, hey, let's go. Go where? We just went bar hopping. Going to places along the coast, the coastline of Ireland. It was like the impromptu tour of Ireland. Those kind of things were always a lot of fun. I worked with Sally Wiggin. And Sally is somebody who I'll never forget. I was at the Super Bowl. We were there, Super Bowl 30. Okay. They're playing the Cowboys, and they're trailing, and they try the onside kick to close the game, get within 7, they complete it. And Sally just grabs my thigh and squeezes it so hard. I mean, the blood was like rushing out my leg because she got into it. She screamed. I'm like, okay, Sally, calm down. We got a game to cover. But I've just worked with a lot of great people, and there's not like one story that I would share. It's just kind of like the whole.
Just the overall atmosphere being around.
It is, and you learn something from all of them. I am a product of Myron and Billy and Sally and all the other people I've worked with over the years, and I'm the person now who gets to carry that torch and pass on to whoever the next generation is. And that's a really great feeling.
That's incredible. And I mean, that's a great point you bring up too, because every broadcaster or news anchor or just someone within the media that I've had the conversation with about the number one piece of advice they always said was pay it forward. Always give it back. Always help out the next generation. And that was the advice I've been given by Robbie and Smikowski, Bill Hillgrove, who was on, Rob King was another one.
Yeah.
I guess what advice would you give to those up and coming students? Because I go to Point Park. This school is known for its communications program. Obviously, I know you've done a lot of work as well with the university. If there was a student sitting in front of you right now, what would you tell them to do?
I would do everything here. Try everything. I mean, the one thing about Point Park that I love, and Ohio U I think is much the same way, it's hands-on.
Yes.
It's important to get good grades. Don't get me wrong, but no one's ever hired me because of my transcript or the grades I got. It's can you do what you're asked to do? Can you edit? Can you shoot? Can you write? Can you speak on camera? Can you, take a huge amount of information, condense it into 1:30 and tell a story? That's the most important thing that you have here, the opportunity to try things. And it may not be for you, or you may discover something completely different. Maybe you say, okay, I want to be a sportscaster, and you're like, well, wait a minute, I like directing. And that's the cool part about being in a school like this. And I would tell every student, don't wait to go to class and have somebody teach you what to do or give you a lesson plan or give you speak to you. Go out and do it. There's so many opportunities, and there's nothing holding you back. And you'll find that once you do that, what you learn in the classroom makes a lot more sense.
Absolutely. And if you don't mind me sharing my story, actually.
Sure. No, I'd love to.
Whenever I first got out of Carlington, obviously, it's a small school. My graduating class was 67, so I barely.
Oh, that is small.
Very small. Very small graduating class. And when I was coming out of high school, I kind of had the idea that I wanted to come to Point Park. I wanted to get involved, wanted to do something within sports and media. And I went to CCAC my first 2 years just to get my associates, get my electives out of the way, save some money. That was the main reason. Of course. Save some money. And then the second I transferred into here, I spoke with Dean Bernie Ankney, who you know pretty well.
Great guy.
Love Bernie.
Yeah.
And I spoke with Bernie about possible opportunities, and he told me, second you get in here, I want you doing internships. I want you doing this, this, and this. I was like, okay. And literally my first 2 months here, I could say I called 5 different college sports. I could say that I was on camera. I could say I was doing a podcast. And at first, I couldn't look back at myself. I was like, oh my goodness, this is awful. I can't hear my voice. Well, what is going on here? But now I can turn on that camera perfectly fine like it's nothing. And that's just because Point Park gave me that opportunity to do so. And I got to learn behind the scenes work, got to do directing, some editing, all stuff I had no clue about. I only really knew how to talk into a microphone. So I fully agree with you. Point Park, amazing.
And what's great is today in our business, I mean, you don't have to be somewhere for 3 years. I mean, if you get the experience now, you can turn it into a job. I mean, and you can do it even here in Pittsburgh. It's, no longer do we go through this whole thing where you got to spend a couple of years in this market and then work your way up. If you have the skills and the talent, and most younger people who are in this business with the changing technology do, you can be working almost immediately.
Of course.
And that's the exciting thing about it. You don't have to, not that, it still takes time to get to a certain level, but you can get in much sooner now.
Exactly. The same with like the internship opportunities and so much technology and editing. I mean, I know WTAE offers some internship programs
We do.
too.
And we've had interns who've gone on to work in our company. We have I know with Channel 4 we carry Operation Football on Friday nights, and we had Waynesburg University was our original group. They would have a student crew shoot games for us, and we've been doing that now for about 10, 12 years. We've had 2 or 3 of their graduates come work with us.
Wow.
Because they know what's expected. They can work under deadlines, under pressure. So it's great to know that they have that opportunity and they can turn into something professional.
That's amazing. So you covered Super Bowls.
A few, yes.
You covered Super Bowls.
Yeah.
You covered major sporting events throughout your career.
Yes.
What was your favorite? I got to know.
Oh, my goodness. No, actually, it's easy.
Really?
The
Okay.
2013 wildcard game.
Ooh.
I have been to Super Bowls. I've been to national championship games, even before I got here. I've never been in an atmosphere quite like that. And I don't know how much. I'm not even. How old were you when it?
I'm 21 right now.
Okay, so that was 12 years ago. So you remember, obviously, how excited the city was. And, I mean, it was their first playoff game in 20-some-odd years.
Yep.
I've never been in a sporting environment where people didn't sit down. I mean, it was a baseball game, not a football, a baseball game. And the atmosphere, the excitement, the electricity, it was 20 years of frustration coming out in one amazing evening. And this is even before Cueto dropped the ball and the home run by Russell Martin. It was just the pregame, the introductions, which people didn't see because it wasn't carried on television, was unreal. And I tell people, look, you know what? If the Pirates ever do win a World Series again, it will not be like that night, because that night was about an entire fan base saying, we finally are here. And just letting loose, and it was just incredible. And I've been to Super Bowls, and when the Steelers win the Super Bowl, yeah, it's great, but it's nothing like that. No, it's not even close. It is not even close. Just because and maybe because it's happening here in Pittsburgh, but it's just not the same as that one night, and that one release of frustration, and that one night of energy, and then to have it play out the way it did was incredible.
What was the Super Bowls that you covered?
Okay, Super Bowl 30, which was Dallas and Pittsburgh. Super Bowl 40, Pittsburgh and Seattle. 43 was Arizona and Pittsburgh. And 45, Pittsburgh and Green Bay.
Pittsburgh and Green Bay.
Pittsburgh and Green Bay. Those are the 4.
Was there a favorite out of the 4 of those, or was it just kind of?
43, obviously, because they won it in the way they won it. Obviously, the Roethlisberger drive and the Santonio Holmes catch was incredible.
Can I just add real quick?
Sure.
I'm actually a Cardinals fan. So watching
You're a Cardinals fan?
I am a Cardinals fan. Larry Fitzgerald.
No, I get. Okay, I get that. I'm a big Larry fan too. That game, because of the 2 things that happened, the interception return, and the fun part about that play, we had an outside press box, so I'm on the 45-yard line at the top of the stadium, and to watch the play unfold where he picks off the pass, and he's got his blockers going down the sidelines, and you have Larry Fitzgerald running through his bench trying to catch him, and the whole time I'm like, he's going to catch him. There's no way he's going to make it. There's just no way. And somehow he gets to the goal line, and then they meet up and he scores. And that was the greatest single play I've ever witnessed. I did not think James Harrison would get there.
I did not either. Poor little 9-year-old Austin was crying that night. It was
Really? You did?
I remembered it. I remember it vividly.
Okay.
It was bad. It was funny because when Bill Hillgrove was on the podcast, I asked him, out of all the years of broadcasting, what was your favorite call he ever had? And he was like, well, let me tell you about Santonio Holmes back of the end zone catch.
Oh.
And I told Bill Hillgrove, I was like, Bill, you are a legend, but you broke little 9-year-old Austin's heart that day. I hope you know that. I've never seen Bill laugh that hard.
Well, that play, unfortunately, because I work in TV, we're waiting to go onto the field. Okay. So Sally Wiggin and I and our photographer are in the tunnel watching it on the monitor.
Oh, wow.
We weren't out to see the play. We had to watch it on TV, which was frustrating because there was a delay too. Like you hear the scream before the catch. So I did not see that play in person. But that Super Bowl I loved. And the other Super Bowl I really enjoyed was Super Bowl 30, even though they lost, because the way they came back. I mean, they could have beaten Dallas and probably should have, if not for 2 really bad tosses by Neil O'Donnell. They pull off that onside kick. They get within 7. That game was a game, and that was the first Steeler team I ever got to really know, because that was the first time I'd covered the team. And I knew guys on that team, guys I still know to this day. And that's the one that was heartbreaking, but it was great to see them come back against a team that, frankly, was the team of the 90s.
Yeah.
Dallas
ruled it.
They were the best team in football. And the Steelers were decided underdogs, and they came back. And the onside kick, I mean, I give Cowher a lot of credit for even pulling it off. And they should have won the game. That's the one Super Bowl that I think that the Green Bay game when they lost to Aaron Rodgers. No, I'm not surprised they lost that game.
I don't think anybody has.
No. But the Dallas game was a game they came back and probably should have won.
Probably should have won. So whenever you're speaking to these players, like down the field, whether it's the Super Bowl or just in general, I mean, what's the relationship like there? Because I mean, I've had the experience of trying to talk to different athletes. It's kind of hard, depending on. And some students, they're actually scared of going up to some athletes just because of the intimidating force. How do you overcome that? How do you talk to these guys?
Well, first of all, I'm much older now than most of the athletes I deal with. When I first started, I was 27 here. And a lot of guys were my age, and I kind of connected with them because I was, athletic at the time, and you'd see them, even after hours, like at various, clubs and restaurants. So you built a personal relationship in a way you really don't today. There wasn't social media.
That's a big one.
There wasn't a really crowded locker room. You could actually have conversations. Like there was a guard named John Jackson, all-pro guard, and he would criticize, or not, I shouldn't say criticize, critique my sportscast when I would come and see him on Wednesdays.
Oh, wow.
Like he was watching.
He was watching. He had the film ready.
Right. And see, and back then, players did watch and read, and they didn't count on social media to convey their thoughts. I mean, we were the conduit. I'm not really, at this age, I'm not really intimidated. It's hard to be intimidated by an athlete, at this point. The hard part is that, you don't have that closeness as you did at one time. And there's always that fear of, okay, I'm going to be misquoted or something's going to be said and whatever. So, I don't think it's antagonistic, but I think there's that kind of like that wall that exists. But you go in the locker room and there's guys you want to talk to. You say, hey, do you have a moment to speak with me? And over time, I still have gotten to know a number of players. Like Cam Hayward's a guy I can go up to and say, hello, hey, how you doing, whatever. We'll talk outside of the locker room.
Oh, that's cool.
But there are a lot of the guys who you're just getting to know, or you're not really connecting with them because they're on a different planet, in a different world. Aaron Rodgers has been great, but he just kind of, isn't the guy who's going to come up and, glad hand people. But he's been wonderful with the media, though. He's answered questions. But I wouldn't be afraid. I mean, you are representing the fan. Mm-hmm. And you want to ask the questions respectfully. The fans want to know. I mean, you don't want to go in there and say, okay, why do you stink? People, like, people on social media. I mean, you can't ask.
Brutal.
You can't do that. There's ways to ask a question because, number one, you will not get an answer that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. If you ask questions where the athlete has to think about it and be introspective, they're more likely to answer that question.
Was there ever a moment where maybe you accidentally messed up on a question that you asked, or maybe asked something that you kind of regretted to an athlete?
I don't know if I've ever regretted asking something. I fumbled my way through the question. I asked it the way I wanted to ask it. I mean, I've done a couple times with Sidney Crosby only because I can see Sidney actually thinks. He's actually thinking when you're asking him a question. But I don't think I've really messed up a question per se. I've been yelled at because I've
been yelled at.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I remember when the Steelers played the Broncos, 2011 playoffs, the Tim Tebow game.
Oh, no, gosh.
Yeah. And after the game, maybe the second question, Coach Tomlin guy said, well, Coach, you had an awful lot of injuries to deal with. And he literally snapped at me and said, hey, we don't blame injuries here. You know better than that. And I was like, okay. But, it's funny, I saw him a week later. He was just like, hey, Andrew, how are you?
Like nothing.
In that environment, you have to understand that, you're trying to get answers. Mm-hmm. And if you ask yes or no questions, you're not going to get an answer. If you ask questions that drive suddenly make it a relationship where you're on this side, they're on the other side, you're not going to get the answer. The whole idea is to get them to say what they want to say.
Exactly.
And to get the real scoop as to here's what I'm feeling. And there's ways to do it that don't involve being antagonistic, that don't involve, taking a shot at somebody.
And it doesn't seem like it's ever personal, too. It's just them doing business, you doing business, and then afterwards, it's all good.
Right. I mean, look, athletes have every right to say, well, why are you, picking on me, or why are you saying this about me? And I've gone through that in my career. And I said, look, I'm not going to say anything where I don't have the facts behind me. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to make a conjecture and give you my opinion as to what I think. I'm going to ask you a question based on what I've seen, what it looks like, and then you clear up for me. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me.
And then most of them probably do now, or back then, whenever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the relationship with athletes has changed, and I think a lot of it is because the media. There's so much of us. I mean, you go in the Steelers locker room now. It's not just the 3 local stations and a newspaper and a radio station. It is bloggers. It is websites. I mean, it is crowded. There are probably 20, 30 media people there when there used to be maybe 10. You know,
Does it get overcrowded in there at times?
oh, it always does.
It always
I mean,
does.
you know, you have to fight for your space in there, especially after a game.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say they're on the road playing somewhere, or even locally, home. Okay, so you have all your local media. Then you have media from outside, like from Wheeling and from Erie and from other towns that come in. So you've got a lot of media in there, and it does get crowded. You know, and that's just the nature of what we do now because everybody wants to be there, and there are more options now in terms of media than there were before.
Especially because the Steelers, I mean, they've grown as well over the last 20, 30 years. I mean, they're probably one of the most notable franchises out there. So there's definitely a lot of people in that locker room.
And also, there's more national media now. I mean,
national.
you know, when I first started doing this, I mean, there was ESPN, and that was it. You know, now there's Fox and all these other services. It's changed a lot. There's a lot more voices now, a lot more places you can go for information. So, as a local person, all you can do is be as local as possible. Try to bring out some facts that perhaps nobody's heard about, or some angle people haven't seen. But it is a challenge now.
Would you say there's competition within the local media, within like WTAE, KDK?
Of course.
Or is it like all friendly?
We're all fighting for viewers. You know, I mean, look, Bob Pompiani, respect him, love him, think he's a wonderful person, great guy. I admire his work. But every night there's a competition. You know, you want to be on the air with something maybe the other guy doesn't have. You want to have an angle they don't have. All three TV stations, we're all competitive. But we're not to the point where we don't talk to each other. We're still people. And you're in the locker room, and these are your colleagues. These are the people that are in your business. But no, there is a competition. There always has been, always will be. This is one of the most competitive TV markets in the country. So as much as you can be friends with somebody, you want to be first, or you want to make sure you have something that maybe they don't have.
Is it like looked down upon? Like, let's just say someone's from WTAE and they're talking to someone from KDK. Is that looked down upon within your guys' business, or is that more of just like, okay, we're all on this together?
If we're in the locker room, of course we talk to each other.
That's great.
I don't just sit there and like, well, I can't talk.
You just can't do that. Yeah, because we've seen that, like, I'm not going to, obviously we don't bring politics in this,
Right.
but like with a lot of the political reporters, you see like, okay, like I don't want anything to do with like a CNN or a Fox on like the national scale.
No, we don't. We're not like that. I mean,
That's good.
I think you know, nationally, because cable news has become so polarized,
Yes.
there is definitely a difference between one organization and another. Local TV stations, we're not like that. We can't take a side. We don't take a side. You know, you go right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
And you talk to people. You know, you talk to people. I mean, look, the photographer from KDK or the guy from PXI. Look, we all have the same job to do. You know, unless maybe we get an exclusive interview or something, everybody's going to probably end up doing the same interview.
Yeah.
So, you know, all you can do is ask the question that's unique to you. But I'm not worried about. I'm happy to talk to this person, that person. We're not standoffish like that.
And you mentioned about the like how the media is changing and the networks and everything. And I mean, on the national scale, we see so many folks out there that are worried now with the media. It feels like the media and the news like the common enemy now for some reason. And I mean, on the local scale too, I've even noticed that here in Pittsburgh where certain like protests and stuff that goes on. Well, can you maybe speak on that? Like I know so many people look at it like public enemy. I don't quite understand it.
Well, I don't either. I mean, all I can do is talk about what we do, and
Yes.
you know, especially politics. I mean, you need to be more careful today than ever before. I mean, people do not tune in to hear. At least I don't think they tune in to hear my political commentary. They want the facts. They want to know what's going on. When you're covering a campaign, you know, you're covering let's say a Republican event, okay? Yes, and then you get the Democratic side. You try to balance things. That's the thing we try to do every single day. And if we don't get an answer, at least we reach out to the other side. But you don't take sides, and you don't share your own political beliefs or ideologies. I've talked to young people about this before. You know, we've grown up in a world where, you know, young people your age,
Yes.
you know, have always had to take a side on things because it's just the nature of the world we live in. But in this job, you can't do that. And I don't do that. I refuse to do that. I love politics, though. My hobby is presidential history.
Oh, wow.
I have books on it. You know, I always like to relate what's happened today to something that happened 50 to 100 years ago. You know, a lot of people say, like, with President Trump, we've never seen anything like it before. Well, that's not true. I mean, Andrew Jackson, in many ways, had the characteristics and the way he approached things as Donald Trump did. So I love political history. And I always find there's nothing really new in politics. Nothing's new. It's just it's just redone, repackaged, and represented. But back to your question, I hope people look at us as a source of information and not as we're going to take a stand and say we feel this way or that way. Because I know I don't. And personally as a journalist, I feel good every day that I can actually, you know, express things down the middle and show you both sides of things. It used to be a joke, like if half the people are mad at you about on this side, half of you mad on this side, then you've done your job. I don't think that's the case, but I mean, hopefully people feel like we are being even-handed because we try to do that every day.
Of course, and it just feels like folks out there, I mean, like they just completely take someone's reporting and they try and turn it into like, okay, maybe one segment that you do on air into a political opinion, when in reality, you're just simply reporting on what's happening.
Yes, and we get letters all the time. How come you're this way or you're that way? It's like, look, we're presenting the facts, and as long as you have the facts, and the facts are not something that can be disputed.
Yes.
As long as you present the facts, you're doing the right thing and you're doing your job. And that's the way I've always felt about being a journalist, and especially now that I've been working in news for the better part of, oh my God, almost 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't mean to go back on this, but
No.
I mean, you mentioned the presidential history. That caught my eye because I'm actually a big president nerd. I love studying the U.S. presidents growing up. That's something a lot of people actually don't know about me. Literally in kindergarten, I used to have like these like little flashcards that had all the presidents on them, and my kindergarten teacher would quiz me and be like, "Okay, like who was the fifth president?"
Yeah.
Like, oh, James Monroe, easily. And then they would be like, "Okay, who is the what so and so?"
That's great.
Who's your favorite president of all time?
I don't know if I have a favorite president.
You don't have one?
No, I think so many presidents are so, like for instance, I don't know if I have a favorite. I have different times that I think are fascinating in the presidency. Like for instance, there was a time following the Civil War when the presidency really lost its power. This was after President Lincoln had been assassinated, Andrew Johnson had been impeached, and the presidency suddenly was lowered. I mean, the Congress was pretty much running the country. And presidents were seen as just kind of rubber stamping what they did. So I find eras interesting more so than favorite presidents.
So you're looking at more like the Reconstruction kind of side of things, with like
grants. Well, even post Reconstruction, before you got to, I mean, until William McKinley became president, presidents really kind of went into the background to a great degree, and they were not these overriding figures who controlled the country or who led the way. I think FDR is a fascinating president.
Very fascinating.
I mean, 4 terms, not 4 completed terms, but 4 terms, and what he was able to do, and how he was able to use the power of the presidency to really change the way the country was run. I think David Eisenhower is a fascinating president because he was somebody who was in war, he was a general, and he realized in war, look, this should be a last resort. There are other ways to do things. And he wanted being a president that really pushed peace. Not to mention, I mean, things like standard of living. The interstate highway exists because of President Eisenhower. So, and I think every president has something to contribute to the country to hopefully advance it. At least through my research I've seen that. It's just a fascinating job. It really is. It's a unique job because it was an experiment.
It's a very fascinating job.
Yeah, something that had never been tried before. And would it work? And the checks and balances, we still go through this battle. Who has more power, the legislative branch, judicial branch, or the executive branch?
Of course, and it feels like that's something that's always talked about nowadays in common media as well, with what's been going on with the current administration, previous administration. I'll give you 2 of my presidents that I always found fascinating.
Sure.
President Kennedy was definitely one that I found fascinating. And then Washington, too, for setting the standard for presidents to come.
I agree. And not only that, but the thing he did I thought was fascinating was after 2 terms, he left. He was the first leader on that scale worldwide, just give up power.
Yeah.
Now we're used to, it's now part of the Constitution, but back then, they say, okay, I'm done.
You could have easily been king if you wanted to, but he turned it down.
He turned it down. And
it's admirable.
It really is remarkable because, we live in a world now where, leaders assume power as long as they can have it. And he walked away from it.
And that's a great point you bring up, too, about, like, every president contributed to something. Because I feel like so many people, like, they let politics divide each other. Like, if maybe you're a Republican and you're a Democrat, like, you can't associate with each other. And I always found that weird because I'm like, I can see the good in both, and I can also see the evil in both. I mean, at the end of the day, we all bleed the same blood, so I don't understand why there's conflict.
It's just the time we're in right now. I mean, we go through these times throughout our history. It's not always going to be like this. We have events that bring us together as a country. Sometimes horrible events, like 9/11 was that event that day everybody said, okay, let's rally around the flag. So it varies. Just because the time period is antagonistic now doesn't mean it will always be like that. At least I hope not.
I feel like I'm one of the weird ones that's like, because since I'm 21 years old, I wasn't around for the 9/11 tragedy, so I had to learn about it through the classroom.
Right.
And it's so crazy hearing those stories too about that day.
I was here in Pittsburgh that day.
Where were you doing 9/11?
So I was living here in Pittsburgh. I was living on the north side actually, and that morning, I was on my way to my dentist's office. He was in the city. And I heard about the plane going into one of the towers. Somebody stopped me on the street and said, "Hey, did you hear what happened?" I said, "Oh." So I rushed to the dentist's office. As soon as I walk in, the second plane goes in. And that's when you knew something serious had happened and something serious was going on. I remember, I called the office and I said, "Well, what do I do?" I was a sportscaster. I wasn't doing news. They said, "Look, just come in." So I tried to make my way in because that day, everything closed at 10 o'clock downtown. They sent everybody home. So everybody left their buildings at the same time. It was a traffic nightmare. It took me an hour and a half to get from the north side to Wilkinsburg. It was because people were just trying to get home to their loved ones. And I remember watching it and just not believing it and understanding the world had changed that day. And you're trying to find, well, what can I do? What story can I tell as a sportscaster? And there were two stories I got a chance to tell that really kind of helped me feel like I was contributing to letting people know what was going on. The Pirate Society have a prayer service with the Mets.
Awesome.
The Mets were here in town. So the entire Pirate staff at PNC Park, beautiful day, sitting in the stands. The team chaplain gave the service. The players were in the dugouts. And I was able to tell the story of that. And it was just a really moving thing, this empty ballpark, except for these employees and the two baseball teams. And then I traveled with the Steelers. They went to Shanksville. I think about a week plus later, they went out there to, offer their condolences. And the interesting part of that entire week was the Steelers were supposed to play their first game at Heinz Field. That Sunday after 9/11. Didn't happen, obviously. They were supposed to host the Browns. And I don't know if I still have it. There's a commemorative football. Steelers, Browns, Heinz Field, September 18th. It didn't happen. They played the Bengals about a week later. And it was just a different feeling. It was just kind of like, people were so proud. I mean, they were red, white, and blue. There were flags all over the place. There was a sense of, coming together as one. Because it really did bring this area together and brought this country together. And it was, but it was one of those things that you knew the world on that day was forever changed.
And it's such a tragic thing to hear, too. And that's why I'm shocked when I hear everybody's 9/11 stories from that day, because it's either, I had to leave work early, or I was at this place, or I was at this place. And my goodness, it really did completely change things.
And I remember 5 years later on the anniversary, we broadcasted the morning show. I was a news anchor by then, from Shanksville. And we went to that. It was the first time I'd been to that field. And there was no museum at the time. There was just this fence, big fence with all these flowers and pictures of people who had died in the crash. And it was the first time I'd been there, and it really hit me what had taken place there. And, it shakes you. It really shakes you. And you think about, what these people did, and had they not done what they had done, how different things might have been that day. So, people always wonder if people in news get affected by anything. That did affect me. And there's things that every day that affects you, but that was one of those things that really did.
That was one of the things that probably stuck with you.
It always will. I mean, the Tree of Life shootings. That day. I mean, I was actually I was in the Strip District having lunch and thought I had a free Saturday, and I got a phone call. "Hey, something's going on. You need to come in." And I was on the set for 7 hours, and talking about this. And the hard part about that day was the fact that I had friends in Squirrel Hill, who did attend that synagogue. Older friends of my parents. I was worried because I couldn't get a hold of them. And I'm like, "Are they okay?" And that day was just horrifying. That will always stick with me. But what will also stick with me is the following week, the Steelers played the Ravens, and we went to Baltimore. And before the game, they have this big jumbotron, and all of a sudden, after the national anthem, these words pop up. It says, "Baltimore stands with Pittsburgh." I mean, wow. And, whatever rivalry you have with the Ravens, you may not like them on the football field. You thought the world of Baltimore that day. And that was because that was the first time anybody had said that. And so that was one of those things that will always stick with me.
Wow, respect earned that day.
Without question. I mean, I think everybody in the country realized what Pittsburgh had gone through. And, football was what you did between the lines, but there was a sense of respect, of concern, of love. And I just think that's one of those moments that will always stick with me. And even to this day, kind of moves me, because you had a full house of people, on their feet cheering for Pittsburgh in Baltimore.
This is some great stories. I appreciate you sharing that. This is some great stories.
Well, I guess I don't think of them as stories. I guess the things that happen to you.
They're just life experiences.
Yeah, and it's funny. I don't get a chance to really talk about what I've experienced much. I don't talk about my career or what I've experienced because I just don't think, it's what you do as a news reporter. You're supposed to report on other people. But, I guess I do have a few things to
It's a nice change of pace.
It is.
How many podcasts have you done? I've seen you've done my buddy Colton's podcast.
I have. Did Colton. Well, Colton, I got to know him when he was at this broadcast boot camp that I did with him.
Oh, nice.
My friend Jenny D, Spill with Jenny D, I did her podcast. I haven't done a lot of these. Podcasting is not something I've really thought about doing, and I do listen to a couple of them, but it's not something I've really.
Add 2 Jagoffs to that list now.
But I guess it's funny. We like when we do our Penguins on 4 pregame show, we stream it now, 4 games that we carry. It's a podcast. We're just sitting there talking.
Just a conversation.
Yeah, it's interesting when you listen to people. One of my favorite podcasts is a guy. It's called Good Seats, Still Available. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have not.
So Tim Hanlon, is his name. I found it because the guy I play hockey with told me, hey, you should listen to this podcast. It's about things that used to be in sports that don't exist anymore. I don't mean to advertise, but it's interesting because to hear him talk about with a lot of authors and people who write books about things that used to exist, just to listen to the stories and how things were created, like how the NFL came to be after the merger of the 1970s, where the Whalers came from and why they're still a big deal, and it's just, that's kind of interesting. So I am listening to more podcasts.
Okay.
Including 2 Jagoffs.
Including 2 Jagoffs.
Well, now that I know, and you've had so many great guests on who are far more entertaining than I am.
Oh, don't say that. No, you've been a great guest. You've been a great guest, Andrew. But no, I mean, podcast really has changed the landscape of the way, I guess, like a lot of media, a lot of news is given out too.
It has because it's a conversation. I think a lot of people, instead of being maybe told what's going on, they just want to hear people who know what's going on talk about it.
Yeah.
I think the great thing you have to be careful of is not knowing your subject. I don't think you can do this and just offer advice or insights and not really know your subject. I think you need people who are well versed in whatever you're talking about for this to work.
Exactly. You have to bring in people that like I said before, actually we went on air, I'm a big wrestling fan.
Yes.
So a lot of the times I bring on a lot of wrestlers on because I actually work within the wrestling industry here in Pittsburgh. So being able to get their insight on stuff, mix that in with a broadcaster's insight. I've had a couple politicians on too. So getting the politicians, it really shows it can go a long way.
It's fascinating. I mean, because and also those people, when you talk to somebody for a half hour, 45 minutes to an hour.
Yes.
They're going to say things they hadn't planned on saying. I'm sure that the curtain goes up a little bit with politicians.
Oh, it has.
And that's what I really like. People will share things because you keep talking, and when you talk, people start to just open up in a way that, if I'm just doing this with a microphone, it's not the same thing. This is a casual environment. We're just kind of hanging out. I'm drinking my coffee, and we're talking.
It's just a conversation.
I love it. You've taught me something.
I've taught you something. I feel honored.
No, I don't think you ever learn everything about this business, and it's always changing and always being reinvented. And I don't know if I ever will know everything, and maybe I don't want to. I just want to continue to learn. And I think the day you stop learning is the day that you stop growing in broadcasting.
Oh, I like that.
You can use that.
I'm going to use that now. Clip that, Lucas. No, I love that. So I want to end off asking you 2 last questions. And
of course.
One of these questions I've been wanting to ask you this entire time. We talked a little bit about the Steelers earlier, but Aaron Rodgers is here. He's the quarterback.
Yes.
What's Andrew Stockey's expectations this year?
This is a really weird year. I've been to practice. I've seen them practice. You've yet to see Aaron Rodgers against somebody else. You haven't seen DK Metcalf against somebody else. There's this great unknown. This team could go 12-5. They could go, 7-10. You don't know. Because we really haven't seen what this team and this offense looks like. It's against somebody else. So it's really tough to know. The fact is, Aaron Rodgers has been a model citizen. He's been great. His teammates respect him. He wasn't named the captain yesterday just because he's the old guy. And because he's the quarterback, he's earned that. I really think the fact that the Steelers have decided, we're going to give it a try this year. We're going to go all in and see what happens. I find that exciting. My fear is they signed the 2021 All-Pro team in 2025. A lot of these guys, they're names, but they're not the same names they were 4 years ago. If this team, 4 years ago, this team had been assembled, they're the division favorite.
By far.
Yeah. Now I don't think so. But it doesn't mean they can't make the playoffs and win a playoff game. I think defense will be better. That was my biggest concern last year. Their defense was just shredded by the Ravens. It was horrible. I've never seen a Steeler team get run on like that. But I do think they're better. And I think I still think they're the third best team in the division, and until further notice. I think the Ravens are 1, the Bengals are 2.
And then so you got Steelers, Browns.
Steelers, Browns.
I actually fully agree with you on that order, and that was a debate that I've had on here recently, actually, with Lucas and my dad, because they see the Steelers' expectations a little higher due to the fact that Rodgers is the quarterback and he is experienced. He's a Super Bowl champion. But my concern was, okay, listen, the last couple of years, we haven't seen Mike Tomlin win a playoff game since 2016.
Right.
We've seen winning season after winning season, not a single losing season under Mike Tomlin's tenure. But at the same time, the Bengals are infinitely better. The Ravens are infinitely better. So that was just my major concern going into this year, knowing that, okay, listen, Aaron Rodgers is great. He's a future Hall of Famer, first ballot, no doubt about it. But you got prime Joe Burrow, prime Lamar Jackson in your same division twice a year.
Well, remember, the Bengals were so hot at the end of last year. If they got in the playoffs, I would make the argument they could get the AFC Championship game.
I'm not mad at that.
They were that good at the end of last year. And also Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's still 41. You know, he's not the same guy. He's just not. He's got that quick release. I've seen that release. I mean, you can hear the ball when he throws it. It's been a while since I had a quarterback.
What's like a frisbee? Just like,
yeah.
Okay.
But he's not mobile, incredibly mobile. You know, they still don't have a prime, like a feature running back. I mean, it's running back by committee. DK Metcalf is very exciting. I'm very excited to see him. Tight end wise, I like Jonnu Smith. Real excited about him too. I just don't know if this team almost too old.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but that's kind of the knock on this football team. You've got a lot of big names, but a lot of guys who've had success in other places. Same time though, I think in many ways they're a little bit deeper. I think defensively, like I said, they're going to be better. They've got Chris Boswell, who, for my money, is the best kicker in football.
Okay.
You know, who won them a lot of games last year.
That is true.
And think about it. That team had been better offensively. I won them a couple more. So all those things together, I think Pittsburgh is going to make some noise this year. I had them at 10-7.
10-7.
I don't know if 10-7 is enough to make the playoffs because the AFC is so good. I don't see 2 wild cards coming out of this division. I don't. I mean, think about it. You got Kansas City in the West.
Yep.
You figure the South is going to be
probably Houston.
The East,
Buffalo,
and then obviously you got the Ravens.
Yeah.
So you got 3 spots left. Bengals will get 1. I like the Broncos.
I was gonna say you can make a case for the Broncos.
I like the Broncos. So basically, everybody else is fighting for 1 spot. And who's going to be that team? Who is going to be that football team?
It's most likely probably going to be Pittsburgh in some people's eyes, but
I hope so. I hope so, but I don't know.
Because you also got the Chargers you got to worry about.
Yeah.
Who knows what the Colts could do?
A lot of people are on the Patriot bandwagon this year.
Bandwagon.
I just
Miami.
Don't, yeah, I just don't know if Pittsburgh is the odds-on wild card team to get the final spot. I hope they are, and if they get in, you know what? Wouldn't shock me if they did win a playoff game.
It wouldn't shock me either. Like especially if it's like a Houston or a Denver, but like if I see them go up against like a Kansas City or a Baltimore, that might be.
Well, you figure they're gonna get in. Let's say they're the 6th wild card. Okay, they're gonna play a 2 or 3. So they're gonna play a division winner.
So it's probably gonna be that Baltimore Buffalo sense.
Could be Houston.
Could be Houston.
But I think if they get in, they can win a playoff game.
But
they have because I think this team. I do think experience comes into play. At that point, you got guys who've been to Super Bowls, who've played in big games. I think at that point, that's where the experience kicks in.
That's a great point too, because I mean, look at Allen; he's 0-4 against Mahomes when it matters most. Lamar doesn't exactly have the best playoff resume. True. So,
although I really think this year is Buffalo's year.
Oh, you got Buffalo this year?
I got Buffalo. Josh Allen's too good not to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I really think this is the Bills' year. They've come so close. They've been so good. I just, if I'm going to pick a team, I'm going to go with Buffalo.
Buffalo? Who would you say their opponent is in the Super Bowl this year? You think Philly's running it back?
Oh, gosh, that's tough. I mean, San Francisco's always going to be good. The Packers, even regardless of the whole Micah Parsons situation.
They're an interesting team.
Yeah, but I think the Packers, I don't think you can run off the Lions. I don't think the NFC is like a slam dunk at this point. If I'm going to pick a team, and I'm just doing it right now, I'm probably going to go San Francisco.
Oh, okay. So
I'm
San
going
Francisco,
to go
Buffalo. That's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's my pick.
Okay.
That's my pick. But don't be surprised if even the Lions, from a wild card position, make a run.
You can even throw the Rams in there, the Commanders in there. There's a lot of different teams.
Well, the NFC is basically, the Eagles were playing great last year.
Oh, yeah.
Great season. Can they keep that up for a second year in a row? I don't know. I mean, Barkley had a heck of a year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and I don't think they're going to let Barkley run wild this year. So,
Fly Eagles fly, possibly? No.
I mean, look, here's the thing. I mean, I think there's a guy, his name was Jim Mora.
Okay,
you remember him?
I do.
He's famous for the playoff comment.
Yeah.
Playoffs. He also said something that always stuck with me because I covered the Saints when he was down there. He said, you don't know. You think you know, but you don't know, and you never will. Everything is an educated guess here. Everything. Nobody really knows. Nobody knows what's going to happen. And that's the fun of the NFL. It's set up so that, truthfully, any team can make a run. I've seen teams come out of nowhere and get to the Super Bowl. You know, that Steeler team that got to Super Bowl 40, there was, if you asked me with 4 weeks left in the season, did I think they'd get to the Super Bowl? I'd be like, no way. Because they had to win their final 4 regular season games just to get in.
Yep.
Then they win 4 in a row to win the whole thing. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way that's going to happen.
And then they did it.
And they did it. So you just never know.
Wow. I mean, you can bring up a good point about the Commanders, too. I mean, last year, nobody expected them to go that far with Daniels as a rookie, and they made it all the way to the NFC Championship.
They blew out the Lions at home.
That's crazy.
Didn't see that coming. And so, and there's always one team every year, as you well know, that comes out of nowhere and makes a run. And they may either get to the Super Bowl or come close to it.
I'm praying this year it's my Cardinals. I will say that. I'm praying.
Well, I mean, for your sake, I hope so. I don't see it, but
I don't
for
either.
you, I hope so.
I don't see it, but I'm praying for it. Fingers crossed, we're praying. Well, I do appreciate you again coming on here, Stockey. I had a great time having a conversation.
You can call me Andrew.
Andrew? We'll just say Andrew. Okay. Mr. Stockey, how about that?
Oh, no.
No, too professional?
No, that's my dad's name.
Okay.
No, Austin, thank you. I mean, I've enjoyed talking to you. I've enjoyed kind of sharing a few thoughts and ideas. And also, I appreciate your professionalism. I mean,
thank you.
You know, it's hard to believe. No, it's not hard to believe you're a senior in college. But, I mean, the fact that you are so professional at this point in your career and you seem to have it all together is going to help you as you move forward. So it was a pleasure to sit down and talk with somebody in the future of my business who, once I step away, I'm sure will be running things.
Oh, well, I really appreciate that. That does mean a lot to me. But I do have one final question for you. And this is the most important question of the whole interview.
The most important one, okay.
I ask every guest this.
Okay.
Let's get ready for it. Mm-hmm. What's the go-to restaurant? We're a bit of a foodies here on the podcast.
What are we talking about? What food? Are we anything?
If Andrew is hungry and I'm about to go out to eat, what's the go-to place? Go-to place, go-to meal.
Okay. I love Dish on the South Side. Italian foods. It looks like a little house. It's just off of Carson Street. It's like one of the few fine dining places on the South Side. Fantastic food. Tough to get in. You need to call a week in advance, but their food is amazing. It's well made. I had the cavatelli last time I was there.
Make me hungry.
Honestly, I mean, I love a lot of restaurants here. Because there's so many places you can go and try things, but if I had a go-to, and I needed to be, it's like, I got to eat. I want to eat a really well-prepared meal. That's why I would go.
There's Andrew's go-to.
That's my go-to, which means now I can't get in because you're all going to take reservations. I won't be able to get a seat, although you can sit at the bar there.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what's nice. I'll go to the bar sometimes, even by myself. Sit in the corner, order dinner.
And then you're just,
And that's what I do between newscasts if the Pirates aren't around.
Oh, that's the go-to spot.
That's a go. You might see me there.
But now you have to book a month in advance. Now that you said that live.
Unfortunately, yes, or just eat at the bar. But that's Dish is my favorite. But there's so many good restaurants in this town.
Oh, there really is.
Yeah, I'll be the first to admit. I went to the Rib Fest this past weekend.
Okay.
And I have a weakness for barbecue.
Barbecue.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, good barbecue.
It was so good. Of course, I probably ate way too much. But that's my that's my food weakness. Barbecue.
I'm a burger and fries kind of guy. So
are you?
I'm a burger and fries.
DeSaro's. DeSaro's is good.
All right, I'm going to have to give it a try.
Bloomfield.
All right.
Bloomfield. I've been going there for years. One of the best burgers in town.
All right. I'm going to keep that noted then.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to have to give it a try. Maybe I'll do a food review. Who knows? Do a little food review on the social.
I'll bet you if we talk about food and don't talk about like sports and broadcast, we'll probably even have more people watching. People love to talk about food in this town.
They do. That's why I say that for the best question at the end. It's like
That's a good question. I'm it's funny because I had to think about it for a second because like go-to. There are a lot of places I really like. But that would be the one place if I had people from out of town, I would definitely take them there.
Okay.
Yeah, if assuming I can get in, but hey, you're from out of town, you want a really good meal, we'll go there.
That's great. And it's so funny. Every time someone comes on here, that's the question that stumps them the most.
Really?
It's the question that, like, they'll talk about their career just fine. Oh, I did this. But as soon as I ask them, what's your favorite restaurant? Oh, hold on. I got to think about this one now.
No, but I have a lot of restaurants I really, really like. And I hope I'm not offending any people, the people who I go to. I'm going to go to your restaurant because I love your places, all of them. I just need someplace real quick. And, I just thought about that off the top of my head.
That's a great
but there's some really creative restaurants. The restaurant scene here has really bounced back, since the pandemic. Even before that, there were some great places to go. I'm one of the old school people. I remember Tambellini's when that was open. That was great Italian food. But definitely Dish.
Definitely Dish?
Yeah.
All right, well, Dish is Andrew's go-to. Well, Andrew, I do appreciate you again so much for coming on. I'm going to give you the final words. Would you like to maybe leave some advice or leave any final words with the listeners before we end things off today?
Well, hey, can I do an advertisement?
Absolutely. It's all yours.
Well, hey, look, we're on Pittsburgh's Action News 4. I'm on at 4 or 5. We do 6 and 11 o'clock news. We do morning news. It's great to be in a city where people watch the news. And you know that what you say has importance because people want to know what's going on. So I thank you all for the opportunity of being able to do this for so many years. I love the fact you actually can put up with me doing both news and sports. Some people are like, wait a minute, you're doing both? I said, it's still who, what, where, when, and why. It's really no different, Yeah. But thank you for understanding both roles for me at Channel 4. And let's hope the Steelers have a year where they at least win a playoff game. How about that?
Go Steelers.
Go Steelers.
Well, Andrew, thank you again so
Austin,
much.
thank you very much.
Really appreciate it. And thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you go leave a like and subscribe. Go check out our social media pages as well. There'll be a promo with Andrew right after this episode. Until next time here on 2 Jagoffs, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.